are your co-hosts of the Horseman's Hot Seat. My name is Kylie Bartell.
I'm Alicia Bradburn.
Yeah, and we're just so excited to be here again with you all today. And today we have Kelcie Mills. We are so excited to catch up with you today, Kelcie. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Good morning, everyone.
We got a lot of Kelcie fans, I can see. Yeah, I love
it. So good.
Great tribe.
Can
So
see
good.
that.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, well, we'll jump right into the questions, Kelcie, because we're eager to find out more about you. The first question, when you're potentially going to buy a horse, what kind of things do you look for, and what kind of things would you avoid, like red flag type of things?
Yeah, totally. Due to my being in the horse business and not always having a lot of money to spend, I buy a lot of horses with behavioral issues.
Okay.
Yeah, but soundness and a behavior problem are two really big things that I'm kind of learning later in life. Like, if a horse has a gait issue or a box issue, if it's because of a lack of body control or foundation, that's one thing. But if it's because they have kissing spine or, you know, their hocks are screwed, that's a whole different thing you can't fix. So I'd say definitely soundness. Yeah. Checking x-rays, it sucks if you don't know you're going to buy it, a pre-purchase, having to spend the money. But down the road, that's definitely worth it, I'd say.
So you would suggest the x-rays, spending that money?
It kind of depends what you're going to do with the horse, too. You know, if you're just trail riding or not doing a lot of performance stuff, maybe no. But if you're planning on having that horse for a while, and obviously the ratio of amount of, you know, if you're spending a bunch of money, it's worth the investment. Or if it's just a cheaper horse, maybe not.
And you know, it was interesting yesterday. Your dad mentioned that you have quite an eye for spotting lameness. Almost, he said, better than himself. That you can pick things up and notice that kind of stuff. So I'm curious, like, what do you look for? What do you see? How did you develop that skill?
I probably developed it going with him everywhere, and my infatuation for horses, just watching them all the time, or the warm-up pen, watching them all move, and just mostly the distance of their feet, like in their steps. So I would always look at their feet, watch their steps, and from their steps you can see, you know, if their hock stays straight, their knee stays a little straighter, you go up higher, or a little lower. And then obviously as I start buying a bunch of horses for the kids and performance horses, you're a little more worried about soundness than maybe before. So just watching a lot and studying. And from a really young age, I've always had massage therapists and also showing you how to release stuff and fix the body. And well, a lot of behavior stuff too, as you guys will come from soreness. So just want to be able to fix it as much as you can, and always watching and learning.
Yeah, and help the horse too. Like they're, you know, it's not like they're trying to be bad, but if there's genuinely something there where they're in pain, like
yeah, totally. I don't want to run a marathon, but I really don't if I twisted my ankle. Like then I really won't. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Really, really love that. So you being able to watch the steps, that's really developed your ability to hone in and assess lameness. I'm curious also, how did you develop your sense of feel and timing with horses?
Well, Doug Mills is my father growing up, so like some people played catch, and I played this like halter field game. So yeah, so that'll help a lot. And then even growing up, like I got my first horse in training when I was 9, and then being coached by the incredible man. But riding less broke horses, you know, having to fix a problem, get through one, and you kind of have to develop it if you're trying to fix a big issue. Like if I'm pulling hard and kicking hard out of whack, you're going to cause a lot more problems than you fix. So, yeah, learn as you go.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cause a lot more problems than you fix, because I think we've all experienced that.
Yeah, and it's going to happen. Yeah, until you learn it, it's just something you go through, I think.
Next question, which is a bit of a one that we want to know from your experience, just learning from experience. How has an apparent failure set you up for later success?
Straying from my passion has done me no good my life. I grew up around horses, of course, and anyone I think growing up or that, or even like in a family business, sometimes you might stray a little, and I did, and I'd worked an office job at a pipeline for a while, and just stealing your joy or sacrificing joy for money, and it's not your health, and really it takes a toll on everything. So just coming back to my passion and failing there makes me a lot better here and just happier. And
and maybe brings a deeper sense of appreciation and gratitude. It's because you've gone and tried something different.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you might have to, but yeah. Right. If you love what you do, never work a day in your life. That's a meme that gets tossed around a bit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Really love that. When you are preparing to ride or train on any given day, like how do you decide what you're going to do?
kind of let the horse tell you, like right from when you catch. Obviously, if we're catching a bunch of horses to do lessons, but if I was just catching my own, I walk up to my horse, they walk away, I'm going to stay there until they don't want to walk away from me. I can approach them, catch them nice. Same if I'm leading them, they pass my shoulder, I'm going to fix that. I ground time the saddle, they move, I'll fix that. I go to cinch them up, maybe they pin their, any behavioral issues, fix that, and kind of just roll on through it. And then if I have a goal or something I'm working towards or a barrel race, then you can do exercises depending on that too, but it never goes as planned. Like sometimes you walk into the arena like, oh, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and maybe you were trying to get to, I don't know, step F, but really your horse is not there today, they're just on B, and it's kind of hard to accept some days when you have a big agenda, but I think it's really important to only do what your horse is ready to do that day.
For sure. And, it struck me when we got a chance to connect earlier on Zoom before the Expo, just you do a lot of building horses that people are going to learn on them. Like you're building a lot of lesson horses. So how do you, as you're building training progressions and planning what you're going to do for your training with those horses, how do you really try to set them up to be as safe as possible to take care of people who are going to learn on them?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of horses I don't build them all myself, but I'll buy some, and fix them. But the most important thing, which most horses don't do, is understand pressure. Like emotional training, or everyone's bound to occasionally jerk or tap out of the blue, but that changes it for a horse a little bit. Where I want my horse to understand, well, every horse has to understand that my pressure and all the kids and all the students' pressure is going to start slow and build to a release, so it's not going to stay on. Same with their legs, they'll start slow and build to a release. But then also the students, have to follow that same thing.
Totally. Do you ever find it tricky to, like, do the horses ever struggle with having different people on them, or how do you help them?
It's like it's a whole process. So they'll stay with me, and then we have the more advanced students. And some horses, when they're not quite ready for it, it's almost like a punch card, I say. Like if I use them for lessons for 3 days, you can start to see the progression of maybe a head shake, or maybe, so then you bring them back, get them sorted out, and then just rotate them through the riders. But yeah.
I really like that, because I know sometimes I've worked at a couple different ranches and done some more like beginner trail stuff, and you just see sometimes those horses, they get a little tired of what's going on, and so trying to do it in a way that still helps them stay interested and engaged.
And we do, so they totally would, and if I do the same thing over and over, they absolutely do get so bored of that. But oh my gosh, we do trail rides, and like in the academy, we do barrels, poles, we do reining, we do mountain trail, we do roping, so everyone does a bit of everything, but I think too, same as me, I get bored doing the same thing every day, so the horses don't love that either,
Totally. It's so relatable when we think of that from our perspective too, the variety being the spice of life. It really helps keep engagement.
They might have to be a trail horse for a bit, then maybe they'll be a rope horse for a while, back to a barrel horse, circle around, do a few toddler lessons,
keeping the variety in.
Yeah.
Kelcie, I'm curious, what made you want to teach children? Like, I feel like myself, like that almost like makes me feel nervous. Like I've had a lot of kids ask me for lessons, and it really makes me nervous because the responsibility of keeping them safe. What made you want to, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, there's a ton of passionate children, but I love teaching just passionate people of any age. Growing up, we did a lot of kids' lessons, and no matter what age, if they don't want to stay and help pick up poop after, that's not always my favorite. I love the ones like we were, like you live and breathe it, and you just want to smell horses and brush horses. Those are my absolute
comb their hair.
favorite. Yes. But how I started teaching kids like I would teach an adult, and they're so much more capable than at the beginning. I was like, oh no, that's too advanced, you can't do that. But when you just start from the bottom and build on the horse psychology and the relationship, it's crazy that, I teach them the same things that I teach the adults. And when you're allowing your horses to, they got to go through the foundation and find the holes in your horses and know what they're like, then it's not as stressful when it's in that, in that situation. It's really controlled. I know my horses, know how to read my horses. Same with the kids, the kids know how to read the kids. Then it's usually the chaos. I have a lot of people say that to me. They're like, I cannot do the kids' horses thing, pure chaos, but I do handle it well. It's not like it's not chaotic, it gets chaotic, but.
But another way you could phrase chaos is there's a lot of energy there.
Yes.
And if energy is shapeable, you can turn that into something really fun.
Oh, it is always fun. It might be, chaos.
Might be a little crazy, but there's so much there that, and I wonder for you, does it feel rewarding to see people, especially when you're working with young people or even adult beginners, but when they don't know a lot and you're able to give them that foundation so early on you're you just think about the trajectory they're on. It seems like you can spare them a lot of the hard knocks or the challenges that a lot of other folks
Oh my goodness.
share about their journeys.
Yeah, I always say like, well, in the right setting, their horses are like a little confidence building cocktail. Like, here you go, just build your confidence, build your self-esteem. You know, you find that best friend, but equally as fast, they can take it all away, right? In an uncontrolled setting. So, well, there's so much great knowledge in the world, like, you know, online, in person, everywhere. Like, I feel like in today's times, you can get knowledge anywhere, which is just what I'd recommend from the start. You know, I feel like people will be like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm going to try to figure it out. But as soon as your confidence is taken away, or, you know, the situation happens, you get run off with or bucked off, it's hard to convince yourself after that that's not going to happen, because it's not a dirt bike. Like, you can't shut it off. Like, it has its own personality, you know? So, yeah, convincing people of that it will never happen again takes a little bit of time to get them back.
Well, it makes me think too of how, like, even for me growing up, I didn't have a lot of instruction. It was just a lot of figuring things out and the trial by fire. Like, there were some bad experiences,
Yes.
getting run away on, getting all these kinds of things that then kind of put that fear in my body. And
Yeah.
it took a long time to overcome that
And
eventually.
I feel like there's positives too, you know, like
Yep.
when you're out there every day or same, like that's why I built my program, because I used to do like once a week, 1 hour lessons, but growing up, I'm like, once a week for 1 hour lessons, I can't even teach you how to find your rhythm at a lope, you know, or
Totally.
like posting is going to take so long, and getting like deeper into horsemanship or horse psychology, only 1 hour once a week is
Not gonna do it.
right. It's so every year I'm just like trying to add more. Like, hey, this year we added, we have twice a week lessons, and we added an online lesson and a mindset lesson, and there's just so much to learn.
Okay, you said a word that piques my curiosity, because on the mindset side of things, that's a lot of what I do in my day job. So I'm so curious, what kind of stuff are you working on for your mindset lessons?
We're in the first month right now, but we worked on just goal setting, how to set a goal, visualization, handling negative self-talk, how to handle your frustration with horses. You know what's going to happen. Like I said, not a dirt bike. I might say go left, and they might say, you know, no thank you, or something less polite. So that can be frustrating, and handling that is hard, especially when you're learning. You know, I'm telling them, no, you just do this, and the horse is saying no, and they're like, I am, you know, and they're not doing it. So, but it's also powerful, you know, being able to talk a horse through it, but how to handle the frustration in between the success, I guess.
And I wonder too, like, being able to navigate the struggle is really where the depth of trust comes when you're
Yes.
building that. Because if nothing bad ever happens and you don't know if things get a little bit dicey, how that horse is going to handle and how
goodness.
you're going to navigate. It's interesting, even in like the counseling world, we'll talk about the idea that rupture and repair in human relationships
Yes.
is so huge for building trust and connection. And so I wonder if that would apply for horses and people too.
It totally would. And even like when you're in the setting of being scared, what's almost hard is sometimes my students never are, right? They're never
Right.
in that mind frame or that fearful situation, or their horse is never in the fearful situation. And it's such a fine line, because obviously I can't like put people in danger. It'd be bad for business. Yeah, so I have to.
I mean, they're always 1,000-pound animals, so there's always some
like
kind
the
of risk.
waivers are good, but yeah, like, it could be sketchy. But it's like
Sure.
finding the line of putting them in a situation of maybe their horse disagrees, or on a trail ride where they get a little antsy or herd bound, and teaching them how to talk it through. Because, or even I always say, oh, you do this if you got an emergency, or do this all the time, but it never clicks, right? Like before I like reached down and got hips when my horse tried to buck, I probably got bucked off 8 times before I was just like, and fell off. Like, right? Like how many before the muscle memory, and you are clear enough in your head to do it. So yeah, you kind of got to put them in that situation safely. Yeah.
Kelcie, I'm curious, because I know you have a well-rounded program that, you know, like you were talking about, it includes like understanding horse psychology. Do you find it challenging if you have a young person who, say they want to ride?
Yeah.
Like, do you insist that people be well-rounded and start on the ground, or how do you handle that?
Yes. So learning to navigate that all the time, because last year I worked all the way through the program. Well, once a week was rodeo and once a week was horsemanship, but we did start on the ground. But yeah, you lose them because they don't want a round pen every day, right? They don't want to go on the halter. So I just
Want to ride?
Yes. Yeah. So I just try to break it up. Like we'll do a little bit of halter, a little bit of round pen, or same thing, like try to relate. We got to go back to the round pen so that we stay safe. Like we got to make sure that we can control our horse at liberty and see their emotions without us hanging on and hold on to them to make sure they're safe. But it definitely, like I used to get mad if I had to trot before I loped. And like if I was like, wow. Like,
I just want to run all the time.
You know,
like,
I wonder,
joke.
I was going to say, I would think about my own process too. I was so keen to get going that I almost needed to go and fail before I would realize the importance of coming back.
You really do, I know. Or like the wrong lead. I remember being like, who cares? Like I'm loping around, yeah.
Oh, that's so good. So then, if you had someone who either was like your student or someone who was going to be your student, what is the secret to earning your respect and admiration?
Mine.
Yeah, like if your student.
Oh yeah, showing up, just
Okay.
passion and showing up, and I'm just proud of any time they come or seek a solution, right? Or
Right.
just proud for following your passion. It feels like a lovely trend right now. Like everyone's like, no, I can do this. Or same with older ladies signing up. Or no, this is my time to go look after me. And just anyone following their dream, really. Yeah.
Letting that take up space.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many things in life that could keep us busy and keep us
Right.
distracted, and then you wake up and you go, it's like,
Wait a minute.
oh my, what? What are we doing here?
Yeah, 3 years have gone by now. Cool. Haven't done that still. As I say that, playing the guitar has been on my vision board for like 4 years, so it's like, I gotta do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you like to make plans and you sound like a busy girl. So when you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, like maybe you get too many things on the go, how do you kind of regroup?
I actually am so unorganized, but what I do is force me to be organized, so that's funny. I got a lot of lifts going on all the time, but even though, again, I don't want to make time for it, going to ride is the thing that'll bring you back down to earth. Like, okay, it's okay. Everything's okay, yeah. Everything can wait, just calm down. And of course, taking a deep breath, grounding yourself, or even writing a list and just figuring out what's actually important. I get really caught up on the stuff sometimes that hindsight, it's okay if that doesn't get done. It's not the end of the world. We'll just do the top 3 and maybe go ride, yeah.
Right? Like zoom in, zoom out moment of like
Yes.
this feels really important right now, but if we like pulled ourselves
Oh my
back a
gosh.
moment.
Literally, at my booth, my candy dish has a red rim and everything else is turquoise. And like, you wouldn't believe how much grief this has caused me. I'm like, I need a new candy dish. It has a red rim. Like, this is not going to work. And then I'm like, they'll eat the Sour Patch Kids, whether it's a red rim or a green rim. Like, it'll be fine. Like,
I understand that.
The details.
Yeah,
I
they
understand
really don't
that.
matter, but
Yeah, I had a few moments of that this weekend already too.
Oh, yes. It's not over. We got another day. Yeah, it'll happen
Which
again.
is so good. So good. Have you had a chance to watch any of the trainer showdown yet?
Oh, I am the most blessed ever where my booth is. I
I
can
was-
watch it right from my booth.
I was gonna ask, just because I know, obviously, because your dad's in it.
Yeah.
I'm so curious. Like, can you give us kind of your take on what you've seen so far?
Well, I haven't seen enough.
Yeah.
But great. Yeah. I think my dad talks too much the first day. I was like, or pet the horse or put a halter on or something. Like, we were wasting precious time here. But he has a method, and it's fine. He's going to do whatever he wants.
What do you think of his horse?
Beautiful. He won't let me buy her. He says he wants her.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we heard about it.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Kate, stop talking about it. You're up in the price every word. Just keep it down low. Yeah. Now we got a bidding war going on with our family alone. I don't know. Yeah, I love the horse, but I am like a pretty horse sucker. Yeah, no, it's bad.
For you, like, have you had a horse specifically like that's really stood out to you, or like one of your favorites for whatever reason? What comes to mind?
Like of my own in my
Yeah.
life. I feel like your first horse or the one you have the longest, no matter what it is. Like some people are like, oh, my first horse bucked me off or took off running, but it's like your best friend. It's the one you learn the most from. So yeah, I definitely do. And yeah, we got him when he was a yearling, and he actually bucked really hard. And then I just grew up with him and grew up rodeoing on him. I got bucked off in the warm-up pen a lot, but then moved through high school rodeo and ended up being a really nice barrel and pull horse and made it to nationals and Canadians. And my sister high school rodeoed on him too, and and then actually my nephew ended up Little Britches rodeoing on him when he was older. So
So he's helped a lot of people.
yes, and I was so protective. Oh my gosh, nobody was allowed to like ride him, or if you brushed his tail and walked by and put your fingers through, if you caught a knot, I'd be like upset and rebrush it, or like the only person at the rodeo with like whitening his socks with baby powder, like absolutely obsessed.
You know, it made me. There's, I think, a quote out there. Someone said that every horse deserves to be loved by some young girl.
Oh my goodness,
and like
amen.
that's willing to do
Oh,
all the
yeah.
things to the nth degree. He sounds like he was well loved by
Oh,
you.
absolutely, yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
The biggest problem is now I have like 22 of them, but I still have the same obsessions. And like the tail bags and the cleanness, but it's getting harder to manage. So now you just have to teach the kids to be as obsessed as I was, and then runs through. Oh my gosh, but I can't let them bath. It's the craziest thing. I didn't think I had OCD, but as soon as they like bath and don't get up in the tailbone, or like don't do the conditioner right, or they're not clean, I'm like, I'm gonna be here for 8 to 10 business days if I bath them on myself. Like, I gotta let this go.
I guess there's probably a sweet spot between, you know, striving for excellence and also remembering what we're all here for at the end of the day, which is to be
Absolutely.
able to connect well with the horses, do well by them, and
Absolutely.
help make them, hopefully leave them better than we found them
Yes.
in an ideal
absolutely.
world.
Yeah.
Kelcie, can you tell us a little bit about what you're currently doing and offering as far as programs and?
Yeah, for sure. So out of Kamloops, I have like a 6-month rodeo academy. So that's twice a week lessons, once a week online lesson, and a mindset lesson online. And then we do our journals and all of our check-ins. But I have 45 students in that for this year, and then it just closes, and hopefully go to Arizona in the winter and reopen it up in the spring.
Very cool.
We have some clinic and camp dates also that are over on the website. I'm pretty booked up, but I have really amazing coaches as well that are available to go around and do that. Yeah,
So you're passing it on.
passing the torch.
Yep. Teaching teachers.
I got a great team though. Yeah.
And it making that ripple effect more
Yeah, absolutely.
available, because you know you only have the amount of time and energy you have is finite.
It's running
so
low. Yeah.
only so much of it. And in Arizona, what do you guys get up to when you go down to Arizona?
I haven't gone for the full winter for a long time, but Dad used to do like a 6-month camp, but I don't like to do a lot. I just want to barrel race and rope and hang out and
I guess that would be another question to jump off on. Like for you personally, when you're doing stuff with horses, what's your favorite thing?
oh goodness. I love to long trot, like on a trail ride.
Yeah.
Like just period, favorite thing. But running barrels and roping. I don't rope as much as I should, but I do freaking love it every time I do it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. And then we're getting close to the end of our time for today, but I would love to hear from you. Where can people come find you? What are some of the things you have going on this weekend if they want to come learn more from you?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a clinic tonight at 4:45, I believe, over at this Ag West Arena pole bending clinic with the kids. And then our booth is conveniently located right behind the round pens with Sour Patch Kids and the red candy dish, if you'd like. And yeah, then a clinic again tomorrow at 12, around 12:45 in that same arena.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much
You're welcome.
for all the things you've shared with us today and just sharing your heart with us too. I think that, you know, for people that want to get better, and especially at that beginner stage, or maybe a little bit, it can be intimidating to
Yes.
put yourself out there and to just to start and chase that dream.
Yeah, it's a big
And
world.
so really appreciate what you're doing in the industry and making that more accessible to more people.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me up here.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you again for Kelcie. Give her a round of applause. She did amazing. And we will be back very soon. So come back for all day long to see who's on the Horseman's hot seat.